the shift of power in the DC universe, because
Hierarchy.
the hierarchy has shifted, and man, Dwayne the Rock Johnson, Black Adam. We finally got it, Dave. I know since they've been making superhero movies, you've been saying, "Give me a Black Adam movie. Just give it to me." Right?
Totally. And so has The Rock, for that matter. He's like, we're making a Black Adam movie, and Shazam will not be in it. He's been saying this for years, and he was going to make this happen. And, well, he did make it happen. And we got Black Adam, the latest entry in the DC Extended Universe. And, yeah, I don't even have like a good joke to make. It's just quite a baffling disappointment. And it's actually hilarious that The Rock hyped this up as something that took so long to make. A lot of people have been riffing that it would have been better if he said we just crapped this out in an afternoon, because then it would be more believable.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot of things I just really didn't enjoy about this, but I think it starts with The Rock, honestly, because while he is playing this man out of time, coming from ancient Egyptian time, bestowed with these powers of the gods,
Kondak.
which I guess, as being someone that hasn't really read a lot of the like Shazam lore, like it's supposed to be Egyptian gods that give him this power, but like
they switched it,
right? Like
they switched it to seemingly more Middle Eastern, West Asian, in a fictional land called Kondak. Definitely reads as more of like a Afghanistan type geography when we're there. I believe that change had happened before in the comics, so it's not out of nowhere. But I think that actually kind of connects to one of the disappointing elements about Black Adam is early on, they kind of nod to some cultural commentary with the film, where Kondak in the present day is more or less occupied by these foreign invaders, intergang, kind of a nod, a play to American and Western foreign policy in the Middle East. And you even have it expressed by some of the Kondak characters about how they're these, invader types, and Black Adam coming out of nowhere. Actually, that's our hero. Finally, someone defending us, And one of the most poignant moments, I feel like, where they basically tell the Justice Society to fuck off because you never cared before. Mm-hmm. It would have been great if the movie was a bit more intelligent in handling that and continuing that train of thought with Kondak throughout, but it's ultimately just dropped. And there's just a lot of baffling decisions that happen throughout the course of the film Black Adam. And yeah, it's ultimately just half-baked all over the place. And I think you're right about criticizing The Rock, because it really kind of feels like how The Rock's filmography has gone the past couple years, where he can't take any L's as a character anymore. He's become what he hates. He's Vin Diesel, he will not like have his skin be scratched, but he also won't be a bad guy. Black Adam is a straight up villain in the comics, and from the jump, as soon as The Rock got attached to this years and years ago, he said that they were going to make him more of an anti-hero. Okay, fine, whatever. You're going to make a Black Adam solo movie, separate him from Shazam in the beginning. Cool, whatever. I can see it. But he's not a fucking anti-hero at any stretch of this movie, and it's so annoying that this film continues to tell us how he's so bad, because he's never bad. He's only ever killing bad guys. The first scene we see, Black Adam, he kills only the bad guys and makes a point decision to not kill the one woman in the room who he just knows is good. Like, he's never a bad guy in any stretch of the imagination. He only kills bad people. And it's just really incongruous from the way the DCU had previously communicated heroes killing people and Batman vs. Superman. We don't have to go down that road. Man, it's just annoying, some of these choices that were made in this movie.
I really loved the part at the end where they're like, he's the type of hero you need because he'll do what the real heroes can't. It's like, well, I mean, what? Like, what are you even talking about with that? Like, the fact that he'll like rip a guy in half, but like he ripped like the big bad villain in half. Like, that was like who he ripped in half. Like, it's not like he's like going around just like murking dudes. Like, he's like he's making judgments based on if they're hurting people. I don't know. It was very strange. Kind of going back to what you're talking about, with, like them not really committing to the cultural commentary. I think even starting with like having this be a story where it's so tied to a cultural area, and then having American, like basically like GI Joe playing this guy is like very like
True.
strange, and just kind of like felt off putting to begin with.
The Rock is not
Um,
Asian.
no, not Asian at
No.
all. And
Yeah.
the only scenes where you flash back to what actually happened and how he got these powers, they have someone dubbing over and speaking. I'm not sure if it was Egyptian or some other um, dialect, but it's like, okay, so you needed someone who could do this, and you just got The Rock, and he gives a very one note performance. He is just not a good actor at this stage of his career. Unfortunately, I don't know if he ever was. I say it.
Well, I think he has been good at times. I think he can act, but he doesn't allow himself to do his strengths with this role. The Rock is a charmer.
Yeah,
And like the best moments of his performance in the Black Adam, the film, are when like The Rock kind of like side eyes another character and like makes a smirk because you're like, ah, there he is. There's the Dwayne I know. But like they don't want this character to be that. So it's just kind of The Rock like stone face the entire time,
yeah,
barely speaking. And maybe this movie was somehow something else and The Rock's in it less, but then that just wouldn't make sense as like being pitched and sold as a Black Adam movie. So there's just a lot of like ill-conceived components that are in the Black Adam film. Chief among them, of course, would be the Justice Society of America, which
yeah.
was obviously hyped up via casting and trailers and a big aspect of this film, these other super powered characters. We don't have Shazam in this movie, God forbid, but we have these other people. And isn't it hilarious too that Amanda Waller is the one who calls these in? Doesn't call the Suicide Squad in to take out this really bad guy we have to rein in. No, they call in the Justice League B team because
Yeah.
that's how it's presented in this movie. Even if the Justice Society like predates them in comic history, like it's
Mhm.
presented as the B Squad.
Yeah.
You know,
The
Hawkman.
the the up and coming, and like the almost retired, basically, and like
Right, and they don't do any work to let you learn about the Hawkman Doctor Fate relationship, which is established to be this old thing. You even had Henry Winkler cast as the OG Atom Smasher, no Centineo, picking up the helm. But they don't tie you into any like history with any of these characters. And I actually think there's some decent moments somewhere in there with these performances of these characters, but like the movie just doesn't give you any time or space to feel anything with any of that.
yeah.
And before we know it, we're watching their ill-defined mission to rein in Black Adam for hashtag reasons,
I know. I don't really know what he was doing. I did love the Amanda Waller Black Adam like conversation in the post credits. I just love that. I don't even know where he was supposed to be Black Adam, and like how this like vision of like Amanda Waller came up, but it was
Good
just
point.
really funny.
Shout out
Um,
Viola D, man. She's getting paid by Warner Brothers. She don't give a shit.
Yeah, for real, I love it. I love the shamelessness. She's like, "Fuck it, I'll take the check. Whatever. I have to show up for 5 minutes and get fucking huge bank deposit." Anyways, I agree with you on the stuff with the Justice Squad, or what are they called?
Society.
Justice Society of America, JSA. Yeah, the Aldous Hodges character. What? Like, at least at least with what Doctor Fate,
Yep.
or you get a lot of time with Brosnan, especially in the end when like he's like deciding to like do the switch and bait with or the bait and switch, where it's like, oh no, I'm actually gonna be the one to sacrifice myself. There was no way Brosnan was coming back for this, so like it felt like
Yeah.
pretty clear this was gonna happen.
Hmm.
But I do feel like he did a lot with what he had. Aldous Hodge is tough because he's kind of put into the Joel Kinnaman role,
Rick
Colonel
Flag.
Flag,
Hmm.
Colonel Rick Flag. Um, he's kind of put in that role where he's supposed to just be like the good leader who cares about the team and is doing the
Right.
right thing. but like you don't really know like where this comes from, or like you said, the relationship, and he's just kind of like a big brother to like Noah Centineo and Sarah Shahi, but like they just get like very little moments. And like you said, you don't really know why they're coming in. They just start like fucking shit up, like destroying the city. um didn't really make any sense to me. And then like I think you can kind of tell that they aren't the bad guys. You can tell Black Adam isn't the bad guy, and so you get three-fourths of the movie through, and you're like, okay, well,
We need a bad guy.
yeah, where's the bad guy? And of course, we go back to where we started in the beginning. The one descendant of whatever his name is,
Sabak.
yeah, Sabak comes back, Ishmael Gregor, and it's like, okay, like this guy's just kind of coming out of the blue, and he's the bad guy now. I don't know.
Yep. Well, we got
And then
some
it's a CGI
zombies
fuck
rising up.
fest,
We got to have the people fight them for a
and
little bit.
then
Oh,
it doesn't even
brother.
look good. Like it's
No.
like back to being like crappy
So,
CGI half the time from DC. And it's like,
yep.
what
But like
was all this
that's what
time in
makes it so
development?
ill-conceived. It's like fuck, this villain shouldn't have been in it at all. You should have just made Black Adam be better, and then you want to make him into an anti-hero by the end of the movie. Sure, that probably would have worked way better. We didn't need Sabak at all.
Yep.
It's just because it's just such a familiar, weak third act villain that we know so well from past poor efforts like Black Adam. And yeah, I mean, I feel bad for Aldous Hodge because he's an actor I like quite a bit. I think he's
Yep.
really kind of come into his career recently with more and more high profile roles, and he probably will be back. As Hawkman is a member of the Justice League too, so we'll probably
Oh,
see him.
he gets promoted.
Yeah, I mean, like the Justice League cartoon, Hawkman
Yeah.
was there a lot, so I'm sure he's in the modern iterations he's pretty common. Probably see him around. Um, like no Centineo and Quintessa Swindell as Cyclone and Atom Smasher. They really get to do absolutely nothing in this movie, but like the brief moments they do get, they have like decent chemistry. So they kind of like
Hmm.
bat their eyelashes at each other. I thought it was pretty good. And Noah, yeah, is it a straight up ripoff of Tom Holland's Peter Parker? Totally. But like, I actually thought it was pretty good. Like he was
Yeah.
actually like kind of charming as like the precocious new guy.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and the Justice Society too. Like it comes across as so ill-conceived from the very jump. All the reason we've said. And then Aldous Hodge, Hawkman, he states his mission statement that the JSA is there to like promote. What was it, international stability? Was the
Hmm.
phrase he used?
Global
It's like
stability.
global stability. It's like, man, what a lackluster mission statement for you guys. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, go back to the
Ah,
drawing board on that one.
yeah.
And we didn't really talk about it, but like I did mention Sarah Shahi and the kid that's running around. I
Yep.
forgot what his name is. Aman,
Marwin.
but played by Bodhi Sabongwe or Sabongi. And I just like again feel like that was just like we have to have a kid. We got to have kind of a love interest, kind of, or at least like a good like strong female character, and then a kid who is like supposed to be like why the why Black Adam doesn't like turn bad, or why he like I don't even know, like he sees his son in him or something like that. The kid will unite the city. That's his superpower. It just felt like so forced. I don't know. I didn't really find much of it effective. And I'm kind of a sucker for those sorts of like storylines, and like the power doesn't have to be given power. Like you can find it within. But like I don't think they really pulled that off at all. I feel like it was uh kind of just a blah, like big fart noise. Um, you get like a quick Henry Winkler cameo. Um, that's pretty much like the only other high profile cameo until the after credits, where we get Henry Cavill called in by Amanda Waller, because man, she's gonna call in some favors with some out of this world people to make sure Black Adam stays in line, because he was really out of line in this movie. And then we have a little Henry Cavill Rock face off, Superman versus Black Adam there at the end. What'd you think about that?
Apparently, they shot it originally without Cavill, and then when they got the Cavill deal signed, Cavill shot this scene, obviously just his part, in England like a month ago. So got in under the wire, but I know anecdotally from some friends that despite the reception to Black Adam, hats off to The Rock, he got Cavill back, something that had been ambiguous and unsettled for honestly far too long when it comes to these high profile film franchises. It sounds like we will be getting a ostensible Man of Steel 2 in the near future, which is more than we could have said the past few years. I do like Cavill as
Mhm.
Superman. I like Cavill in general. And I actually think Man of Steel is one of the stronger DC films of the last, era. So
Yep.
I welcome it. Do I want to see him square off with Black Adam? Not my
Hell
first
yeah.
choice necessarily, but I feel like The Rock probably got that one in writing too. He will be in the mix.
I'm I'm sure of it. I am I am happy to see Cavill back. I am happy to see that we're going to be getting just more Superman in this world and not having to like rebuild the character in some sense.
hmm
Uh, there's just not a lot of DC heroes at this point that we have a lot of good faith with, where we know the character is definitely coming back. I mean, look at all the stuff with the Flash right now, and so I feel like DC kind of had to drop this bag, or they were kind of going back to the start with this. I mean, Aquaman. Who knows when we're getting that movie? Is that next year? I guess
we know it's
we
been
do.
filmed. That's
But
next year.
is it coming next year for sure?
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
Let me pull this up.
So we know when we're getting Aquaman, but the Flash seems like it's in limbo. Then there's reports that they've already written a second one for Ezra Miller. So see what
Right.
happens with that.
Yeah, so actually 2023 is going to be the most prolific DCEU year yet as far as things stand. Shazam 2 Fury of the Gods was delayed out of competition with Avatar 2 this December. It's coming out in March. Then the Flash movie is currently dated for June 2023. With David Zaslav at the head, I feel like they're just going to release it just to make the money. It just sounds like how they're operating at Warner Discovery these days. Also, we currently have Blue Beetle dated for August 2023, which was converted to a theatrical film and kind of was able to be saved from the Batgirl fate. Of course, an HBO Max film canceled, written off, rather than released at all. And then closing it out, Aquaman comes out Christmas next year. So
Christmas. Wow.
after that, separate from this DC universe, of course, we know there's a Matt Reeves Pattinson Batman sequel in the works. We know there's a Joker 2 coming out with Joaquin, Todd Phillips, and Lady Gaga. But after that, nothing seems concrete until perhaps whatever's next with Black Adam and whatever's next with Man of Steel Superman. So we m- might be waiting. 2024 sounds like it's just Joker 2.
Yeah, I think kind of to circle back. I think the idea that the best DC properties right now are not tied to any sort of like connected universe
Yeah.
is tough. But Aquaman certainly people love Momoa in that role. I don't know what's going to happen with Miller, and then you think about like all the Batman stuff and where that's at in the connected universe. You're unsure,
Yeah.
so
Well, and it's so interesting because, like, as we know, they've been trying to find their Kevin Feige figure in a certain sense, and whether they can get someone to be as truly all seeing and all knowing the way Feige has proven with Marvel, that's probably a little bit of a high bar. But just to have someone who's like directly running this, as we know, Walter Hamada is on his way out any day now. It felt like the Flash movie with the Flashpoint storyline was going to be that natural reset, and
mm,
it would allow you to bring back a Michael Keaton and a Ben Affleck Batman for fun because we're gonna reset. But like they don't have like the leadership or like the setup in place to do this reset. It feels like right because if Wonder Woman 3 still happens, sounds like it will. That doesn't seem like it's serving a reset. Man of Steel 2, same thing. Unless they really want to find a way to communicate a hard reset, but still keep some of your actors. If you can pull that off, I say go for it. But in the meantime, I think it's just, film the film. There have been DC movies I've liked quite a bit, and there's ones I haven't liked, and there's ones I've liked somewhat. It's fine. Uh, it would just be really great if that more of a coherent plan was easy to see. but we've been saying that for a while now.
Anyways, Black Adam, not a movie I would recommend, but if you like DC, check it out, I guess. Let's move on